All right, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
And I want to say good morning to our people joining us on Zoom, on Instagram. Good afternoon, good evening, because we know that we have clients, we have staff all over the world. So I want to say good morning to you wherever you are. Good afternoon, good evening. You're welcome to our Monday training again at Adbond Harvest and Homes. It's another beautiful Monday, and I want to appreciate all our eTeam members. I want to appreciate our virtual staff. I want to appreciate our full staff here present for the good work we all are doing to push the brand to the next level. I believe that we are gradually taking over, and before you know it, Adbond will be known all over the world. And this is a training we do all the time just to equip ourselves here at Adbond Harvest and Homes. And I want to appreciate all our facilitators that have started all through the year. We have been learning a lot from one another, and I want to leverage on what we have been learning here. And today we want to do another thing called Your Network is Your Network. We are having a training with the topic Your Network is Your Network. We are all salespeople, right? And then whether we like it or not, we have to be involved in selling, in one way or the other. And when you're thinking about selling, the first thing that comes to mind is your people within your cycle. All right, we are looking at people you want to sell to. The first thing that comes to your mind is your family members, your friends, your colleagues, and then before you start thinking of those you want to see outside. And that is why this training today is a training for every one of us. We all want to learn from one another. I'm just I'm the person facilitating. But I believe, with our people on Zoom and Instagram, we're going to have time to learn from one another this morning. So I would like to start with the opening quote that says, "The richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work." The richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. And this quote was given by Robert Kiyosaki. If we are all familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, he's someone that he talks a lot about people looking within themselves and starting their own thing rather than going to search for work. All right, he is someone that he believes that we all are so enriched. We have a whole lot inside of us that we can give out, that we should first of all look at what is on the inside, and then take it to the outside. All right, and he says that from his own research, the richest people in the world, what they do is that they are always looking for and building networks. We wonder why rich men would, a senator's daughter will get married to a governor's son. All right, we look at how those people usually connect themselves to marry themselves. What are they trying to do? They are trying to build their networks, because they know that the moment they have that network intact, all right, it is always easy to leverage on that network to get to wherever they want to get to. Why most of us, the average people, I want to believe we are not all average people. I believe we are excellent people. We're always looking for what to do. We're always looking for the work to get, at one point or the other in order to make ends meet. But Robert Kiyosaki, in one of his books, he said, A student works for C students, B student works for the government. All right? So most of the average people, in quotes, after leaving school and they realize that there's nothing to do anymore, they look within, and then before you know it, they start their own thing and they take over the world. And from there, they start employing the A students, they start employing the B students. So the opening quote is just trying to tell us that the rich people, they do what? They look for and build networks. Also encouraging us, as eTeam members, as virtual staff members, as full staff, that we should always try at every point in time to look for and build networks. Let me go to the next slide. I want to give a definition of keywords in the training. Number one is network. Network means relationship that we keep. Alright, if you are talking about network, we're talking about relationship that we keep. We talk about net worth is the amount which your assets exceed any liabilities, and then it's accurate reflection of your financial health. So when you are talking about your financial, how healthy you are, you're actually referring to your what? To your net worth. And then I talked about assets and liabilities. Assets is basically anything that has a certain value and can be converted to money. Liabilities are the debts you owe to other parties, and they include car loans, mortgages, credit cards, student loans, and other debts you might owe. So at every point in time, how do you measure your assets? How do you measure your net worth? It is your assets minus your what? Your liabilities. What you have that can be converted to money minus the debts and everything. By the time you do all of those calculations, what you have left is what you can call your net worth. And realize that the goal of every individual at all times is to find ways to increase personal net worth. And this can only be achieved by acquiring more assets or reducing debt. As staff, one of the major things we are always looking out for, why majority of us are working and doing everything we are doing, is because we want to increase our personal net worth. We want to ensure that we are giving all we have within us to get whatever we want, and then reduce the debts we have to the barest minimum. So in this topic, we want to see how we can leverage the relationship that we keep, how we can leverage on this relationship to increase our assets and to reduce our liabilities. So I want us to check out this statement. I want us to ponder on this statement. Number one is, God wants each of us to be obsessively preoccupied with the needs and desires of His children. The way we are all created, we are created in such a way that we are to be interdependent on one another. Alright? God didn't create just one person to live for himself all alone. God created each and every one of us. I have some gifts with me. Mr. Benga has his gifts. We all have different gifts, and then we are supposed to exchange these things in order to to better our lives. Alright, so God wants us to keep thinking about what you can do to better the next person. As I'm here, I'm thinking about what I can do to make Mr. Adebayo better. Mr. Adebayo is thinking about what I can do, to make me better as well. And that's what really led to the era of specialization. Alright, you look within, you look at what you are very good at, and then you do what? You specialize. By the time every one of us specializes, we can easily exchange what we have, alright, and then life gets better for every one of us. Number 2 says, people can trace their successes or failures to relationships in their lives. Now, we all work with Adbond Team. We are all salespeople. We are selling, whether we like it or not. We are selling. We are selling a particular value to people out there. And if you want to really check out so far, if you want to weigh how well you have done in Adbond thus far, you measure it by what? By the people that have bought this stuff from you. We check out people that have bought from you minus people that haven't bought from you. So you can trace your success in Adbond as of now as a salesperson to how far you have done in terms of sales. Alright? So whichever way you want to look at it, it is through your network that you make your sales. Alright? You don't just sell to a stranger somewhere out there. In a way, you connect with them, you start talking with them, and before you know it, moves to a relationship that you both start connecting, and then you can sell to them and they can buy from you. Okay, tons of research has shown that people with strong network tend to be happier, tend to be healthier, tend to be wealthier and more productive. Truly, when you see people that are always, within a circle of people where they are exchanging values, they are always very happy, they are always very healthy, they are always very wealthy, and they are always very productive. Because when you are down, when you are in a circle, when you are in a relationship where you have people that are good around you, when you are down, they help to bring you up. By the time you do something to make them happy, you also get happier. Alright, and so when you find yourself in relationships like this, in strong networks, what it does to you is that it makes you happier, it makes you healthier, it makes you wealthier, and it makes you more productive. Also, a study carried out by Carnegie Foundation says that only 15% of a person's success at work is determined by job knowledge and technical skills. 85% is determined by a person's attitude and ability to relate with others. The job market has changed, and the office market has changed as well. The way people tend to do well can be measured by their social capital, how well you relate with people. Alright, and Carnegie Foundation, after doing their research, found out that 85% of people, do well in their organization just because of their attitude and their ability to relate with others. These statements are statements we want us to ponder on. Number one, God wants you to think about the needs of other people and see how you can attend to the needs. Though you can't attend to all, you attend to the ones you are called to do. Number 2 is people can trace their success. You can trace your success, or failures to relationships in your life. Tons of research has shown that, if you have a very strong network, you'll be happier, you'll be healthier, you'll be wealthier and more productive. And then the research by Carnegie Foundation shows that, 85% of people do well just because they have great ability to connect with other people and their attitude as well. So The big question is, you invest your money, but do you invest in your relationships? You invest in your money, you put money in the bank, you're always thinking about what you will do in the next 20 years with money, in the next 30 years, in the next 40 years. But do you take time to write, about your relationships and how well you want to invest in your relationship? Majority of us don't actually do this, because we just take investing in relationship as just something that, is just by the way. Of which, really, if you're going to measure our net worth, if you're going to measure our financial health, it is by the networks that we keep. So the big question again is that I want us to ask ourselves this morning is, how well do you invest your money? How well, do you invest into your relationships? So I'll just go straight to say, how can you grow your network? Because that is mainly what we want to talk about today. How your network can translate into network. I want you to think about the value of your network and see how you can grow it. So at the moment, I would like us to just sit back and really look at what our network is like, and think about the level at which it is right now. A number of us work in companies, we work in schools, we work in diverse places, but I would want you to sit down and really evaluate your relationship thus far. How well do you relate to people around you? How well do you try to connect with new people on a daily basis? Because you know that it is this network that can translate into your network. So I want to give steps, and I'll just give 5 steps. Number 1, how can you grow your network? First thing is that access the barriers holding you back and develop a transformational attitude. Access the barriers holding you back and develop a transformational attitude. Down there I wrote that networking is transformational, not transactional. It is more about who you are becoming than who you know. Actually, there's a way we look at networking. People think networking is all about going to events, exchanging cards, and then seeing how people can just, leverage on one another to get better. But if you look at the way networking is in our age, it is more about you, who you are becoming. Because if you don't have value to offer people out there, there's nothing they will give you back in return. What we are doing at Adbond, Harvest and Homes, we are doing Agro to Home project development. We have value to offer to people, and that is why people can actually buy from us. So as an individual as well that want to connect with people out there, the first thing that should come to your mind is, how am I becoming as a person? How am I developing myself? And then you have to start thinking about who you are more than who you want to meet. So in that way, I'm saying that you should check out whatever is taking you back, access the barriers holding you back. Check out what is making you not to connect with people, very easily. We have a lot of excuses that people give. People say they are shy. I would say that growing up, because I grew up from at a point in time we're doing well financially, and then I would say we're born with silver spoon, and at a point in time the silver spoon was collected and we're given bronze spoon, or wooden spoon rather. So at that point in time that I was still attending private school, because we were not doing so well financially, there was this inferiority complex that came with me. When these rich men kids are talking, I would want to just low and not want to talk. But with time, thank God for relationships that we keep, and they keep telling you that you can get better. It is not about what they have in terms of monetary value. It's about what you have in your head and what you can contribute. So I realized that my major problem at that point in time, the barrier that was holding me back from really connecting with people as I moved, further in life, was that I realized that I had the inferiority complex. I was always comparing myself to the rich people, how they are doing things. So when we're in an organization and they're asking questions, I would not want to ask questions. I would just want to lay low and be looking, because I feel those ones know better since they have more cash at hand. So we have diverse reasons for why we don't want to connect with people. You can check within yourself and see what is really within you that is affecting you from connecting with people. Some people are shy. Some people, when they're in a gathering, the moment they see faces, everything is gone. And some of us have different attitudes like that. Some of us are introverts, and then we say that because we are introverts, we just want to stay indoor, and then finding how to meet people out there, it becomes a thing for us. But we don't have to let those things pull us back, since we understand that for whatever thing we are doing, network is key. Network is very, very vital. So you have to access whatever is stopping you from not, taking a step to meet new people out there, from not taking a step to want to help people out there. So I want you to start thinking about networking in terms of transformational, other than transactional. think about how you develop yourself more, and then you realize that you start growing your network. Number 2 is you need to draw a roadmap to being a successful networker. So you need to draw a roadmap, and here the questions are here. What do you love? What do you care about? And where are you trying to go? What do you love? What do you care about? Where are you trying to go? The first thing, after you have accessed the barriers, just like we know in scientific problems, the first thing you do is to ask questions. After asking questions, write their hypothesis, and that is try to draw a roadmap of how you want to become a successful networker. You have identified that shyness is your problem. You have identified inferiority complex as your problem. State it down and look for ways whereby you can go around these things so that you can become a good networker. And then one of the things you need to do is to write down what you truly love, what you really care about, and where you are trying to go, with what you love. I'll go to the next one and I'll still connect the dots back. The third one says, define your core passions with funnel tests. Define your core passions with funnel tests. I would say that I learned a lot from Porter Gale, a while ago when I was about taking this training, some months back. And one of the things I learned is this funnel test. All right, and this is an exercise that helps you find clarity regarding activities and interests that brings you joy. Research has shown that when you have similar interests with people, it's easier to connect. If you love farming and you meet people that are in the areas of farming, it's always very easy for you to want to ask questions in that region. If you meet people that love real estate and you love real estate, it's always easy to want to ask questions regarding that area. All right. So since we have realized that shared interests, common interests helps us to connect more, then we need to really get out our passions and write them down. So what this test does is that it says write down 3 different areas you're passionate about. If you look at this cycle, all right, 3 different areas you're passionate about. This is an example of someone's funnel test. We all should try to do that at different times. Write out 3 different things you are passionate about. So, for example, this person here is passionate about e-commerce. This person is passionate about education. This person is passionate about people. All right. And what is the tonality? How does the person want to be viewed outside? The person wants to be viewed as person that brings about change. All right. And then from there, when you have done this thing, you create a purpose statement for yourself. And this is the purpose statement of this person: empower individuals with e-commerce wisdom, and skills they can use in sustaining business, advocacy, achieve better quality of life. This person is Janet Tora. When I did mine, I'm passionate about educating people. Right. So education is part of my own. I'm passionate about building relationships. It's part of my own, and at the same time, I'm passionate about volunteering. When I checked out how I want to be viewed, I put down the word inspire. All right. And when I put down my purpose statement, I said to inspire, people to fulfill their purpose. That is just my own purpose statement. Research has also shown that companies that write down that mission statement that are clearly written out, they tend to do better than people who do not have their mission statements written out. Just like a technology company that we know, that we're all familiar with, their own purpose statement has to do with beauty, innovation, and branding. Beauty, innovation, and branding. All right, and these people, they have been doing well since inception. So this actually, what it's trying to do is, by the time you write our passions down, by the time we write our purpose statement, it helps us to go in line with what we really want in terms of networking. It helps us to streamline the people we want to connect with, because like I learned, you cannot do everything. All right, you can only do what you're called to do. And one of the ways to know what you're called to do is to write down your passion statement. You write down your passion and your purpose statement. So this helps to streamline the people you tend to meet on a daily basis. So by the time you are doing this, it helps to move you from being the timid person that wants to network to being a very strong and confident person that wants to network. Let me go to the next one. The next one says, have a mindset of positive productivity. Have a mindset of positive productivity. Take small steps to move forward. When stuck, embrace pivot points and focus on collaboration. What is this thing saying? So we have talked about 3 different things earlier, and you realize that the moment you're beginning to take steps in becoming a better networker, sometimes you try to meet people, they shun you out. Sometimes you go to gatherings and then you find it hard to talk with people. What this part is saying is that don't give up, all right? Take those little steps and, celebrate the little steps. By the time, because networking is just like something new that you want to do for those that are not good at it. So the moment you are getting little successes, record it and celebrate it. Don't just see yourself as, because like I said, sometimes in events you want to meet with people and then they'll just shut you down. That shouldn't make you go down. That shouldn't make you feel bad. Go back home, check out the things you have done earlier, those things that have given you little successes, and then be positive that you will get better at it. So have that mindset of positive productivity. Everything takes small steps, one step at a time. You keep getting better, and we can check out our pivot points in life. Those are points whereby we experience big failures. Probably we lost a job and all of. You realize that when you want to get back up, you think about relationships around you. That is what helps you to leverage back up again. All right. I can remember when I was doing something, I wanted to move to the next level, and then that thing didn't happen. I had to sit back home for a while and started thinking of what next to do. And when I was going to move to the next level, it was a relationship that I connected with that got me back on track. So you just have to have that positive mindset that in this networking thing, you keep getting better on a daily basis. And then the fifth thing says, develop a give-get attitude. Develop a give-get attitude. The secret of networking is giving and helping others without expecting anything in return. One of our major problems with networking is that we are only thinking about what we can get from people. We are not thinking about what we can give. And that is why you would see that the word give was, written twice there. What it's trying to say is that think about what you can do to people times 2, and don't even expect anything in return. When you are meeting someone for the first time, what should be on your mind is what can you do to make that person better, and not what you want to get from the person. That is what most people miss about networking. When you are going to an event, when you are going out, when you are trying to meet with people, the first thing that is coming to your mind, this man is a rich man, he can connect, he can do this, he can do that. Why not change the narrative and say that what can I do to help that very person? And in Nigeria as a whole, as well as youth, one of the things, we have that entitlement mentality, and we're always thinking about what Nigeria can do for us. Let's change it and let's start thinking about what we can give, and what we can give without expecting anything in return. You realize that when you help people to get better, when it is time to help you, it becomes very, very easy because you have blessed them, you have added value to them. So I want us to start thinking about how to help people more when we are thinking about how to network with others. So I'm just going to go to the recommendation for today that says that be authentic, follow your passion, nurture relationships, and use technology to improve and accelerate your connections. Be authentic, follow your passion, nurture relationships, and use technology to improve and accelerate your connections. The other part says create content, product, or services to share your purpose. Be a producer and not just a consumer. I'll explain more all of this in the next training that we'll be having. So, but I just want us to pick this word down here, this sentence: be a producer and not just a consumer. I can remember someone said that the creative ability of God is higher in producers than in consumers. Let us not just think about what we want to get. Let us think about what we can give. And that is why that quote by Kiyosaki, once again, talking about rich people, are people that have a lot of things, what they are blessed with, and they know it, and they think about how they can help others with it, rather than thinking of how they want to go get a job to just make money out there. And the closing quote for today is that you can have everything in life if you will just help others get what they want. Zig Ziglar said this: you can have everything in life if you will just help others get what they want. Like I said earlier, if you're thinking about how to help people, alright, if you're thinking of how you can bless others out there, you will see that you getting your own done too will be very, very easy. So please let us think about how we can help others get what they want. And so with this, we have come to the conclusion of today's training, on your network is your network. So if you have questions, if you have comments on Zoom, on Instagram, kindly drop and let's attend to them. Thank you very much.